Okay, we're going to learn Shavuot Maamar and Likkutei, but it's in the Midbar. So, Likkutei Midbar, page 30, middle of the first column. The pasuk says, "Vaydaber Elokim es kol hadvarim ha'ela leimer." The opening sentence to the Aseret Dibros is Hashem spoke all these things, saying, "Lahav in his mouth is called hadvarim ha'ela leimer." What does it mean? Why does the pasuk Why does the pasuk add that Hashem spoke all these things? It should have just said, "Vaydaber Elokim anechi Hashem Elokecha." Why not only why is kol hadvarim ha'ela leimer? What does it mean, ha'ela? These things, to show al-davar and near of a nigla bizgalia. When you say ela, these, it means it's revealed. So I said, vaydaber Elokim is kol hadvarim ha'ela, means all these things are revealed. Therefore, Mishnah Torah also begins ela hadvarim, because those are things. Asher diba Moshe kol Yisrael bizgali, that Moshe Rabbeinu spoke to the Jews openly. But the first four chumashim, it says vaydaber Hashem Moshe. Uksev vayishma zekol medaber elav Moshe levad yishama v'chol Yisrael yishama. So therefore, normally vaydaber Hashem Moshe leimer, it was hidden. Hashem only spoke to Moshe. Here, when he's speaking to every Yid, like Chumash Dvarim, Moshe Rabbeinu spoke openly to all Jews, so it says, Eila Hadvarim. By Aseret Dibros, Hashem spoke openly to everybody, so it says, Vaydaber Elokim es kol hadvarim ha'ela. L'chein Mishnah Torah and Miloshim Mishnah LaMelech, which is second to the king. Sheina Bechinas HaTorah Atzma. It's not like the Chumash itself that it says Vaydaber Hashem Moshe Bechinas Helam, in a concealed way that only Moshe Rabbeinu heard it. Elo Gili HaTorah is to be a revelation of Torah. Asher diba Moshe kol Yisrael. So the Rebbe is saying like this: what's the difference between the first four Chumashim of Chumash and the last Sefer the Chumash Devarim? The first four Svarim, it always says Hashem spoke to Moshe only. It wasn't revealed to everybody until Moshe Rabbeinu revealed it. Chumash Devarim, it says Eila Hadvarim, because Moshe Rabbeinu spoke openly to all the Yidden. The same thing by the Aseret Dibros. Well, let's say B'chemet Torah Sheba'al Peh is a level of his Galia, which is Gilu Shet B'Ksav. Shebet Torah B'al Peh Derech Pirush Shabir Mitzvahs which are Behelim B'Torah Sheb'Ksav. So what's Torah Sheba'al Peh also? Torah Sheba'al Peh, the oral Torah, is a revelation of the written Torah. The written Torah says dinim, okay? It says, for instance, don't do work on Shabbos. We don't know what it is. That's all hidden. Torah Sheba'al Peh reveals it. Torah says don't eat meat, don't cook a goat in its mother's milk. We don't know what it means. So Torah Sheba'al Peh explains it. And therefore in all these things it says Es kol hadvarim ha'ela, hainu. Kol b'chinas is galia. Kol is all these levels is galia. Ein Torah Sheba'al Peh, vein Mishnah Torah, kol nichol b'Aseret Dibros. So what the Rebbe is saying is like this: as kol hadvarim ha'ela means all of Torah Sheba'al Peh, all of Chumash Devarim, all aspects of revelation of Torah were revealed in Matan Torah. Vaydaber Elokim es kol hadvarim ha'ela. All levels of Eila, all levels of Gilui, meaning Chumash Devarim, all of Torah Sheba'al Peh, Hashem spoke at Har Sinai.
No, he spoke all of them.
No, all of them. In the Aseret Dibros is Nichla, all of Torah Sheba'al Peh. Kulam Vaydaber, skip the parentheses. Vaydaber Elokim b'Sinai tzimtzum erin tzal in a level of Midas HaTzimtzum, B'chol Eila Hadvarim. Hashem limited himself to reveal all those things. Ki mipi agvur shamun, we heard it all from Hashem. Okay? So bottom line is, what is the concept of Aseret Dibros? Aseret Dibros is to reveal all the concealed aspects of Torah, which now became revealed. V'nei klal nesinas HaTorah Yisrael, the general giving of Torah to Yidden, hoyeberash b'kelus uvrakim. Was a big commotion, thunder, lightning, The whole world went crazy. So the Rebbe says, why? Every one of the 10 commandments, basically, number one, most of them the Jews had to keep before. 7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach, most of them are in Aseret Dibros. So l'cheira, why is there a big commotion to say simple things that now that most of they had to keep anyway before? What's the big tumult of Matan Torah? So what is it? What is the main purpose of Nesinas HaTorah? Yes, Gili or in Baruch Hu Mamish, to have the revelation of godliness down here. That's what Matan Torah accomplished. Matan Torah didn't accomplish giving the mitzvahs that they had before. Matan Torah, what is the inyan of Matan Torah? That the essence of Elokus came into Gashmis, now Gashmis could be elevated. Shekshmei Kain Hu. Ein Leisof is no end. Hamalu b'chachmas b'Torah comes into Torah, which is Chachmas Yisbarich. Behu b'chachmas Yachar Hashem and His Torah one. And wisdom is one. Hamadi Adeli is Gili Zel Mata. That this, what was the uniqueness of Matan Torah? That the essential level of Elokus, Torah, which is Huva Chachmas Yachad, Lias Gili Zeh, Lemata Bidvarm Gashmi Dafka. What was the tumult about Matan Torah? That essence of Elokus became revealed into physical things. Meaning, in order for Hashem to be able to say Aneich Hashem Elokecha, meaning Hainu Lies Anechi Mahu Sivatzmo Yisbarach Mamish Anechi, right? Anechi higher than like the Gemara. Leis Ram is Leibishum Eis Leibishum Kaitz. It's not any name of Hashem. It's not even the crown of the letter. It's the essence of Hashem. Should be Gilui. Ache Yenikra Elokecha. What was Matan Torah? That Anechi, the essential level of Hashem, becomes Havai Elokecha, becomes one with you.
What was the purpose of this quote before Matan Torah?
7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach? No, but didn't elevate the Gashmis.
Besides that, what was its purpose?
Refine the world.
Making those amounts.
That's it.
And why the light show?
What?
Why the light show on Har Sinai? That's what one.
Because you know what this is? That the level of Anechi becomes yours. That Hashem, the Elokim, comes into Leisitzach, Leisinaf, Leisigzel. That level of Elokus, the Torah says something simple, don't steal, well, that means kidnapping, but don't, that level is connected to Anei Chavai Elokecha.
So how could Noach be
Yisad means he kept his mitzvahs that he had to keep.
So mitzvot are accomplishment.
No, not in the Gashmistic world, didn't change the world.
How did he become Yisad?
By doing the mitzvahs he was obligated to do, but that doesn't mean the world became holy from it.
So I understand that part.
No.
For him, for Noach himself, or for Abraham Avinu, he accomplished.
And what did Avraham Avinu accomplish?
Gerim.
Reichesai, it's all Ruchnius.
And he comes Gerim. He made Gerim.
Gadim, what do you mean he made Gadim? Nothing happened, nothing was left from those Gadim, by the way. It says nothing. Avraham Avinu made Gadim. What did he made him believe in Hashem? But it didn't permeate them because it couldn't. And therefore nothing stayed.
Clearly he's getting the schar. He's getting the
A
schar.
guy gets reward also for keeping the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nei Nech. But that doesn't mean that they bring down the level of Anechi into Gashmias. Or the Gashmiistic world change.
But then the schar that he's getting is Gashmi.
No.
Abraham Avinu got schar, all the gifts, everything, all the ocean.
Who says that was the reward? Not before Matan Torah.
You had the Brit Mila, Rabbi.
That was like after Matan Torah. So he says like this. So what happened in Matan Torah? that Anechi becomes Elokecha, but in order to come to that level of Matan Torah, it has to be Tchilas Sfiras Ha'emet. Zayin Shvus Tisbalach Be'achal Chermesh Bakama, when you start harvesting, Ki Bakama, what does Bakama mean? Midas Ativius. Shemi Nefesh Habamis, when it says Me'achal Chermesh Bakama, Kama means in the grains. Bakama means Bakama, something which is standing by you, meaning natural instinctive habits that you have. Bakama, things that you have are strong. He says, which stands up firmly. What does it mean? Kama represents the strong instinctive characteristic traits of the Nefesh Habamis. As we know, people's natural characters are very strong. They don't change. Kachamidas tivius. The same thing, the natural instinctive midas. And chazakas beguf are very strong in the body. Betivam ubudasa, and therefore what do you have to make? You have to cut it. Hachal chermish bakama, meaning tzarach lachni ulashpilan. You have to break and lower these natural instinctive midas. Bechinas is kafir v'sap, breaking evil, transforming evil. Ulahon efalem chemesh, to bring the thing that cuts. What do you call that? Not the saw, the sickle, whatever. Chemesh achris rachaleis lav chamamish la'ayin liyes zayin midas hativish, and he says because there's 7 midas hativish of Nefesh Habamis, therefore there's 7 tzvuos tisper loch. What do you mean loch? Tisper to shine, loch to you, meaning you have to transform. That's what we learned in the other Maamar. Pesach was the revelation of Nefesh Elokis, but Matan Torah also needs the Nefesh Habamis. So therefore you have the 7 weeks preparing the 7 midas rois of the Nefesh Habamis, and then you're able to come to Matan Torah. Shetiyan b'teirav nechlalas b'midas al yenol l'chol Hashem akdushem b'teilim b'erin tzav mamish. They could say l'chol Hashem or v'chol kema v'nechas shtachva. What do you mean kema v'nechas? All the kama, the Nefesh Habamis, the emer from barley, the Nefesh Habamis, that level needs to be l'chomish tachva, the bowing to you. So he says like this. What did Matan Torah accomplish? That the level of Anechi comes into Elokecha, that you are completely transformed. Now, in order for that to happen to the Nefesh Habamis, you need to have Sfiras Ha'emet, which is Aveda of Me'acha Chemesh Bakama, that make the Kama to be L'chos Ishtachave, to make it Batul Telukus.
These are stronger than
What?
There were these hakikas, these stronger than Nefesh Habamis midot. You said there are ones that are by nature very strong.
The Jew's Aveda is, even though they're stronger than the midas of the Nefesh Elokis, the Aveda of the Jew is to break the midas of the Nefesh Habamis. In other words, like this: there's the Shanes Midaisav Hativiyim, or L'shanis Teva Midaisav. There's 2 expressions. Musar primarily is L'shanis Midaisav Hativiyim. Midaisav Hativiyim means to change your instinctive bad Nefesh Habamis, Behema, right? A person is born b'chal, self-centered, selfish. I mean, those are 2, but they're not supposed to be. Kids are born self-centered. What do you need to teach your children? You need to teach the children to behave, meaning to work on that. So the whole Aveda, what Musar is in Torah, yeah, what he's saying here, is to change the natural bad midas a person has. A person has kas, gaiva, this. Okay, that's a.
What is transcendent? Rule over.
Then there's a higher level. The Shanis Teva Midaisav means to change the nature of your midas, even the good ones. The good one, what's Yitzias Mitzrayim? breaking your nature. There could be good nature, you're learning. But to break your nature, 10 minutes to 11 minutes. So there's two aspects in Avodah. There's one aspect of Avodah, get rid of your bad midos, break them, transform them, like he says. Then l'chom mishtachva, they're bottled telokus. But then there's even a higher level. Even your good midos. But once they become a habit, it becomes your limitations, your nature, you have to break that also.
Why would you want to break the good people?
To make them better. Not break them, make them better. Change them to better.
So Rabbi, we're always busy.
Right.
The Jew cannot sit in a comfort zone. There's no comfort
They do. They do. They do.
Southern
The
culture.
Jew cannot be in a comfort
They
zone.
do. After 120 years, when they put you in the box for a while, there's a comfort zone. Then in Gan Eden, after you finish Gehenna in the comfort zone, you go Mechayel
Southern
Achayim.
comfort here.
Yeah, put it in the box, not Jackie.
Okay, base. So he says, Abiyah Adava, to explain all this, what it means, in Nei, the Maamar Azal, the Gemara know what the Gemara says, that Gnimno v'gamru shetalmud gadol mimaisa. There's an argument, the Gemara says, there was a discussion, the base metric, Talmud gadol or Maisa gadol. Nimno v'gamru, they made a vote, and they said, a very strange expression, Gadol Talmud, shemevi l'nei Maisa. They were discussing what's greater, learning or action. So they came to the conclusion, learning is greater because it brings to action. Which, by the way, doesn't answer the question. If you say learning is greater, I mean learning is, but you say because it brings to action means action is greater. Anyway. So he says, it says, it says, the pasuk says in Mishlei, none of your desires equal to Torah, and the Yerushalmi says, afilu chefse shemayim. Even heavenly things, meaning even mitzvahs don't compare to Torah. And he says, in Yerushalmi, it says, man de omesh afilu the davar echad Torah. Even one thing of learning Torah, and kol mitzvah kedai. Not all mitzvahs are not kedai for one word of Torah. Record of Lazel Barabbas Nech said Parshas Shalam and Hey in Kalas Rab. Okay. Ella, the Gemara, Ramo, Adad, Kroy Adad. The Gemara, it says, in Meid Cotton, asks a question. One pasuk says, Chol Cheftzim L'Yishuva, Fil Cheftzim Shamayim. One pasuk says, even heavenly things are not equal to Torah. And another says, Chol Chafratzecha L'Yishuva. Your wills are not connected to Torah, meaning heavenly things are. Okay, Mishane, and the Gemara answers, I'll explain in a second. Kam b'mitzvah she'ef she'lasei se'adei achedim, kam b'mitzvah she'ef she'lasei se'adei achedim. The Gemara asks a question, there's a contradiction of two psukim. One pasuk says even heavenly things don't come to Torah. Heavenly means mitzvahs. Another thing is your will doesn't come to Torah, meaning heavenly things do. Okay, so the Gemara answers like this. One is speaking a mitzvah that can do through somebody else. Somebody else, you have a mitzvah or learn Torah. If somebody else could do the mitzvah, then you learn Torah, you don't stop to do the mitzvah.
Say it again.
If you have a choice of learning or doing a mitzvah. So if the mitzvah could be done by somebody else, you don't stop learning Torah. If the mitzvah, it cannot be done through somebody else, then you stop learning Torah to do the mitzvah. Okay? Let's say you're learning Torah and an old lady needs help across the street. So if there's somebody else to take her across the street, you don't stop learning. If nobody else can take her across, then you go stop learning. Which, by the way, is a contradiction within itself. Because the question is, what is greater? If Torah is greater, then you should always learn Torah. If mitzvahs are greater, you should always stop. If somebody else could do the mitzvah, then you don't stop learning Torah. If somebody else cannot do the mitzvah, so which one is it? So the answer is, in essence, Torah is greater. But the purpose is doing gashmistika things, so that mitzvah needs to get done by gashmis. So normally Torah is greater, so therefore if somebody else can bring down that hamshach into the world, then you let somebody else do it, and you learn Torah. But yes, Torah is great, but that's not what the purpose is. The purpose is to go into the world, like the Meraglim. Yes, they were learning Torah in the Midbar, but that's not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to go into Eretz Yisrael and deal with the world.
How would you know what to do, Rabbi, if you wouldn't learn Torah? How would anybody know what to do if they didn't make that as a focus?
They asked Rabbi Google.
Yeah. And then what
You don't have to learn, just ask Rabbi Google.
Eretz or Shamayim. The ultimate goal is Eretz.
Ultimate goal.
Okay. L'chein, and move on. So now L'chein, he asks the question. Now the Rebbe says, like you just said, the purpose of learning Torah is to know how to do the mitzvah.
Exactly.
So then what's greater? The mitzvah should be greater. He says, Peter should be a mitzvah case of tiyasi yotzo. The Torah is to tell us how to do a mitzvah. V'lama yigdal keach u'mailus ha'esik u'bir ha'mitzvah yosef mimaisa mitzvah atzma. How, if there is the manual, how to put the thing together, how can you say the manual is more important than the thing you're putting together? The vate shef shal say the first is truma derech moshul. Shef shal shidei shliach separating truma. You can make a shliach. V'sholei sekatei shliach pina lasi b'chus truma. V'yohei b'pishu be a mitzvah tiyasei de'achim. The question is, it doesn't make sense. Why should learning be greater than mitzvahs? The Torah is open, thing is to tell us how to do a mitzvah.
Stay tuned for tomorrow.